What up, everybody? This is MC, and I don't have a name for this yet. I thought about calling it Corner Talk. I thought about calling it The Rundown. Thought about calling it a few other things, but I think right now I'm not going to call it anything because I don't have a name yet. But I kind of wanted to come in here, and I know you've probably been drugged through the mud of this whole Meagan Thee Stallion thing, but I haven't been able to podcast a lot lately, and I've been trying to get more in. I'm trying to do episode 2 soon. If you listen to episode 1, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure you like the video, comment on the video, share it with your friends, do all that good stuff. But today I really wanted to come in here and talk about this Meagan Thee Stallion thing because whenever I was looking up episode 2, I was going to talk about it, but there was a lot of false information running around out there. There was a lot of things going on out there that was like, yo, if you actually remember it going on, half of this shit ain't true. And I feel like somebody actually needed to sit down and say, yo, this is what's really going on. This is why she's upset. This is why she's mad. Because a lot of people were like, oh, I'm here for Meg. Oh, Meg needs to stop complaining. She's getting money. A lot of that is tour money, and right now nobody's touring with this whole COVID-19 thing going on. So now you should really be looking into where your deals are going and where that money is going, because a lot of rappers out there are probably hurting real bad right now. But I want to start this off. Meg Thee Stallion is a Houston rapper. She's based in Houston. She was making moves, making a lot of noise down there, and I believe she signed with 1501 and dropped Tina Snow. I want to say that was the first thing she did whenever she got signed to a record production company or a production company. I don't think they were considered a record label at the time. They may have. I might be wrong on that, but that's neither here nor there in the story. She signed to that person. That's something Crawford. He used to be a baseball player, and he owned 1501 ENT. Now, he's signed to them. Now, she is signed to him, right? Follow the chain of events for me. She is signed to him. She drops Tina Snow. Tina Snow's a hit. Tina Snow came out in... No. She dropped Make It Hot in 2017 first, and that's what I think got her signed to 1501 in 2018. Maybe it was like the end of 2017 when she finally got signed. So she dropped Make It Hot. Tina Snow was a big hit on 1501. Now, after Tina Snow was a big hit in 2018, 300 ENT got a little... No, not yet. I'm sorry. I'm ahead of myself. So Tina Snow was a big hit all 2018. Everybody's talking about Meg Thee Stallion this, Meg Thee Stallion that. She's a big, beautiful woman. Not big as in fat, but she's very tall. She's a beautiful woman. If you're listening, Meg, all I'm saying. So Tina Snow makes a big hit in around 2019. I want to say the beginning of the year, maybe mid-year. 300 ENT gets a whiff of Meg Thee Stallion and says, "Yo, we could do something big with this." So they signed the 1501, the whole label. The label itself is now signed to 300 ENT. So now Meg Thee Stallion is signed to 1501, and 1501 is signed to 300 ENT, and I believe Meg Thee Stallion is as well. So now she has 2 contracts. And I want to break it down for you on those contracts a little bit for people who don't understand music industry contracts. A lot of it's a split profit. Whatever you make off a person, because they're doing distribution, probably they're getting people to pay for your studio time, your features, your beats, and they're putting it out for you. Okay, so they're doing all that, and in return, you make music and you sell the music, you tour. And most of the time, if you can get it to happen, they don't make any of the tour money. They just get off your streams, because streaming is a whole nother thing that I'm not going to get into right now. So usually what happens, it's a 60-20 or a 60-40, a 70-30, or an 80-20. So that's the bigger number is always for the record label. Master P is probably the only one that finessed the rap game or a record label and was able to get an 80-20 split, and he got the bigger half. That's why Master P is probably, everybody should go listen to any interview he's ever done when he's dropping business knowledge. You should follow him. That doesn't happen anymore. That's not a big thing. It's really hard for you to get an 80-20 split and you get the 80. That usually doesn't happen anymore. But it may. You may have something that they want. I'm not saying it's impossible. What I'm saying is it doesn't happen. But you may have something that's bigger. But if you're an artist and you really want to do that, you should really hold out if you have something bigger, because you can always sign a better deal. All right, so What I'm saying about all that is you'll usually come with years. So you could sign a 3-year, 3 album contract, or you could sign a 5-year, 5 album contract. And your job as an artist is to now produce 5 albums or 3 albums. That's your job as an artist. And until you get those, you can't be let out of that contract. You can't renegotiate. There is no, hey, I haven't done anything for you yet. Let me renegotiate this and let me get some more money. You can't do that. That is not a thing. You have not held up your end of the contract that you signed your name to. I'm not going to bring her mother into this that much, but she was the one there to talk about the contract. She was the one there that read over and said, yo, you're signing a really good deal. And it probably was a really good deal. I don't know the exact verbiage and nouns that were going on in there. But what I'm saying is that's a normal contract. You're going to split your profits. You have to. Nobody's signing you for you to get your 100% profit. So she's dropped 4 projects so far, 2 of which I believe are just on 1501 ENT, and that's Make It Hot and Tina Snow. Fever and Sugar are the only 2 albums that she has placed that are coming from 300 ENT. Now, Fever is an album. Sugar was an EP. And the difference between an EP and an album is typically 7 or more songs and has over a 30-minute runtime. Now, an EP is 6 or more songs that's under 30 minutes. And it's really weird because if you look at her albums, most of them do run over 30 minutes. Now, there may be more of a stipulation because of Billboard, and that's what record companies want. They want their singles, they want their albums, they want all those on Billboard. So Billboard may have a separate stipulations for it to be considered an album there, but you can still chart with an EP. And that's probably what's going on here. Because if you look, I don't think it's on Apple Music, but on a couple other places, they're stated that they're EPs. So Meg says that she's had to pay for all her features. She's had to pay for all her beats. She's had to pay for all her studio time. She said that's coming out of her pocket. Now, the record label is probably looking at her like there's probably a couple records that they want her to do, but she doesn't want to do them. I'm not saying this for fact. I'm just saying what could be going on. So they're like, well, whatever, if you don't want to do it, you're going to have to end up paying for everything, or you're good because you signed the contract. It's legally binding at this point. So whenever Rock Nation looked over her contract, they're like, yo, you're getting fucked out of X amount of dollars that you could be getting right now, but there's probably stipulations that they're not overlooking, that they're not that they're overlooking, but they feel like there's a way they can maneuver around them, and that's what they did. That's how she was able to create the lawsuit against 300 ENT and release Sugar. And I believe it's against Crawford as well, the owner of 1501 ENT. So now that she was able to do that, I really want to see where this goes. But again, Sugar was considered an EP. It was not considered an album. As far as I could see on Apple that it said that. It said that it was an album, but it's in albums because it's the criteria meets. But if you look anywhere else, it says EP. Like I went on Billboard, went on Google and I found it and it said EP. I looked at a couple other platforms and it said EP. It did not say album. So that could be another problem. And for any artist out there, you have to make those albums. But always sign the shorter deal. Always sign that shorter deal. It's easier for you to come up with 3 albums than 5, because in 3 years, you could capitalize on a momentum you have. You have to realize the momentum and the marketing strategy you can create for yourself with a team behind you, because in that 3 years, if at the end of that 3 years, you can create enough momentum to jump off the label and do everything yourself, or maybe get the label to sign a distribution deal just for you and get off both those labels. That would be my advice to Megan Thee Stallion, is get those albums out of the way, build that momentum that you're getting off Sugar, and I would try to sign a production deal. That's me. That's how my brain works. And there's a lot of there's a lot of people. Well, not a lot. There's 4 places I looked, and they were saying artists usually get 50-50 deals. Newsflash, bro. There is no such thing as a 50-50 deal. There's no such thing. No artist comes in and gets a 50-50 deal. That doesn't work. That does not happen. There is no 50-50. Most artists usually give up their publishing. They give up their rights to the music. They don't end up owning any of the music. I know Sony is notorious for that because they have a whole legacy catalog of people that they'll never get that music back depending on the streams that they're getting right now. So you really need to understand, because she signed a 60-40. That's what Meg Thee Stallion has. I have been able to find that. So at 60-40, you need to figure out how you're getting your 40 and where that 60 is going and what that 60 includes. That 60 could be your publishing. 60 could be your music. That 60 could be the rights to your name, which is wild because she built Meg Thee Stallion. There would be no Meagan Thee Stallion without Meg. But she could have possibly signed that name away and all rights to it. So whenever she leaves, there is no Meg Thee Stallion. She's got to come up with a whole new name. Now you got to come up with a whole new marketing strategy. It's very telling that a lot of artists still don't understand this. Because a lot of them are like, no, that's bullshit. Like, let her put out music. And you see which ones were speaking up, and you see which ones were like, I really can't say nothing because I'm in the same boat. So that's really all there. That's really the biggest breakdown, is just understand where she's coming from as an artist, because whenever you're an artist, you just want to make music. You're not really there to do the whole record label thing. But to get out of your contract, you have to go by the guidelines of the contract, or you're never going to get out. Because even though it is 3 years, 3 albums, that 3-year contract can now go for 10 years because you never produced those 3 albums. That's how Frank Ocean finessed him. As soon as, he dropped his last album, he dropped another one with another person and made, I think, a couple mil off that. But that's my breakdown of it. That's my rundown of it. And I want to give a big shout out to Depp before I get out of here, man. Shout out to Depp, bro. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you, bro. I'm going to have a little picture maybe up here, one side or the other. Up here somewhere. I'll show you the tweet. He turned down a deal because all they wanted was his publishing, man. That's a huge fucking, just to know your worth and be patient and diligent. That's amazing, man. So shout out to him. I'm going to have him linked down in the description. I'm going to have, go check out Kenyon. It's out right now. He hopefully has something coming soon. Catch me in episode 2. For right now, man, I'm out.